Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so we are going to be talking about tables and graphs this week. I'm going to start off with the tables because I feel like that's a good starting point. We're going to be taking equations from a table and finding solutions. I like to call it plug and chug, okay? We've been working with inequalities and equations, so I kind of feel like this should be easy for you to catch on to, but let's go to our notes. Share. All right, let's look at this. Creating tables from equations, okay? So the vocabulary words that we're going to be using in this lesson is additive relationship and a multiplicative relationship. They sound like big scary words, but they're not really. An additive relationship is when you're using addition or subtraction to solve. A multiplicative relationship is if you're using multiplication or division to solve. Easy, right? All right, let's take a look at what we have right here. So it says creating tables from equations. Substitute the input for x in each equation to find the output or the y. Remember x and y from graphing? Because we're going to get into graphing a little later this week, okay? So let's see with this first example. It says that our input, which is our x, are these numbers right here. Here's the equation that we're going to be using to find the output, which is our y. So our first equation, it says replace the x with what we have here, which happened to be an 8, and then add 7 to get our y, which was 15. So we're literally going to do that all the way down. And put 10, 12, and 14, plus 7, plus 7, plus 7. Okay, 10 plus 7 is 17, 12 plus 7, 7, 8, 9, 19, 14 plus 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, all right. So now we have all of our outputs, which are our y's, okay? Now, a little later this week, we're going to be graphing these solutions. But just for right now, I'm going to write them as ordered pairs because that's what it's called when you have an x and y relationship. Here's my x, here's my y, okay? Now, just to bridge in our vocabulary, because I used addition to find this relationship, this is going to be called an additive relationship because I used addition, okay? All right, let's look at another one. My equation is 5 times x. And no, the x does not mean times anymore. Remember, when a letter and a variable are next to each other, that means multiplication, okay? Our x's are given. They want us to find our y's. So look, our first x was a 6. So 5 times 6, or we could have put the little dot in between. I like using the parentheses, so we're going to do that. Our next x is 8. Then we have 10, and then we have 12, okay? Now we're going to multiply. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 12 is 60, okay? So now we have our x and y relationship. And I'm going to go ahead and put that as an ordered pair. 10, 50, and then 12, 60. Now, because I used multiplication to solve for these, I'm going to label this as my multiplicative relationship. I know, guys, it is a big word. That just means that you multiplied or you divided, okay? But just so we're bringing in that vocabulary so that way we know what it means, okay? All right, now we're going to work backwards. Let's say they give us the y and they want us to find the x. Well, we just do the opposite operation. We work backwards, okay? So let's see what we got here. So originally, our equation says x minus 2, but we already know what the y is. So we need to work backwards to see what we started with. So what minus 2 equals 7? Or we can just say 7 plus 2 is what? Okay, look, the opposite of subtraction is addition. Okay, so let's see, our next y is going to be 9. So we're going to put 9 plus 2. This one's going to be 11 plus 2. This one's going to be 13 plus 2. Okay, remember, we're trying to see what we started with. So 9 plus 2 is 10. 11 plus 2 is 13. 13 plus 2 is 15. Okay, now, of course, we need to check this. let's go to the original equation and plug in. 10 minus 2, it is 9. 13 minus 2, it is 11. And then 15 minus 2 is 13. So our plug and chug was correct, okay? Now we're gonna put our ordered pairs, 10, 9, 13, 11, 15, 13. And because we were using subtraction, or addition rather, we're gonna put this as an additive relationship. All right, last one, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Our original formula was 8 times x, but again, we already have our y, so we need to divide to figure out what we had started with in the beginning. So I'm going to put 16 divided by 8, 24 divided by 8, and 32 divided by 8, okay? 16 divided by 8 would give us 2, good job. 24 divided by 8, 3, and 32 divided by 8. You're probably like, oh, miss, it's 4. Well, yes, it is 4. All right, so now we know what we started with, but let's check. Let's go back to the original. Let's plug and chug. 8 times 2, that is 16. 8 times 3, that is 24. And 8 times 4, that is 32. So we did that correctly. Our ordered pairs are going to be 2, 16, 3, 24, and 4, 32. And because we use multiplication or division, rather, this is going to be a multiplicative, I'm just going to abbreviate that, relationship. Oh, that word's just as long as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to go back to the folder. You have an assignment on this. Remember, follow the equation at the top to figure out your missing y or your missing x. If you're finding your x, you're working backwards, okay? Again, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll help you out. See you tomorrow.